Hi everyone, Coach Alexia here. It was really chilly when I was out first thing this morning, and it got me thinking about warming up and why we might need to warm up, and also why it's a good idea to take a little bit longer over it when it's cold. So what are the benefits of warming up before we do any sort of sports or activity? Well, threefold really. Gradually increases our heart rate and our breathing rate. So if you think about, what state you were in, what state your body was in, what you were doing before you head out the door for a run, for example, you've probably got a fairly low heart rate, low breathing rate. You won't really do very much. You're probably fairly static, or you might have been in bed sleeping. So what we want to do is give the body the opportunity to gradually up that heart and breathing rate to the sort of level that we're going to end up kind of working at during the run. So with that in mind, and with all the aspects of the warm-up, if we're going out for a long run where we're actually going to be running at a really nice, slow, easy endurance base building pace, we don't need to think too much about the specifics of the warm-up, perhaps just walking for a few minutes and then running really even slower, and then getting into your long run pace, and that's probably all you need to do. But it's worth thinking about that heart and breathing rate ramping up if, for example, you're doing something speedier, maybe an interval training session, because we do want to take a little bit more time to gradually get the heart and breathing rate up to that level that we want it to be working at, because the heart and breathing rate operate on a bit of a lag system. So it'll only go up, maybe 30 seconds-ish, varies a lot person to person, after we've changed speed. So if you go straight hell for leather into a speed session, you'll find that it's a bit of a shock to the system. The heart and breathing rate will peak really quickly, it will struggle to come back down again, and it'll all feel a little bit off kilter. So that's reason number one for doing a bit of a warm-up. Reason number two is literally to warm up the temperature of your muscles. So, again, my example this morning, I was out quite early. I'd not been out of bed that long, maybe half an hour, 40 minutes-ish. Opened the door, it was really cold. Our physical body temperature is going to be lower. So two things to bear in mind with that regarding our muscles, how our musculoskeletal system works, is that colder bodies are more likely to suffer from sort of injuries, niggles, little tweaks, and also warmer muscles perform much better. So again, thinking about gradually raising the temperature of our muscles. So that can be starting out with a brisk walk or a really nice gentle run, and then extending that when it's colder outside, or when we're colder to start with. It is going to take longer. So it might have taken 5 minutes in the summer, might take 10 or 15 minutes of running, brisk walking, or a mixture of the two to get the body up to operating temperature, but it's definitely worth spending the time on. The other little interesting thing that happens when we start any form of activity or exercise is that our body's quite good at then preparing ourselves for it. So one of the things that happens in our joints when we run, the body feels the impact of our landing coming up through the body, and it will stimulate the production of more synovial fluid in our joints. And that helps cushion the joints, lubricate them, protect them. It's one of the reasons why sometimes if we're a little bit stiff and jaded in the morning and we get going, we get moving, we warm up, and suddenly we're feeling a lot looser and happier, that the temperature difference but also the synovial fluid production in the joints will help with both of those. So those are the things that happen predominantly when you're warming up, and it is useful, as I said, over this time of year when it's a little bit colder, to just take a bit more time over your warm-up so your body is better prepared to perform better in your run, but also potentially look at lowering injury risk a touch as well when those muscles are warm and working well. What would you need to do in terms of a warm-up? I talked about the long run. It's just about easing yourself into it, really. If you're going into a speed session, then it can be useful to do that kind of longer, 5 to at least, but normally 10-minute sort of gentle jogging, get everything moving, and then maybe throw in little periods of faster stuff. So some people talk about strides, so short, sharp lengths of faster running interspersed in the final part of the warm-up. Maybe even trying some drills, some skipping, some backwards running, some sideways skipping, to get that muscle activation going and work on some muscle patterning and movement patterns as well. Loads of tips in previous videos and also on my blog on other stuff to do in the warm-up, but that's a little bit about why you should think about doing them, and particularly at this time of year when things are a little bit colder. Hope that's helpful.